Wyrdeer is just a really weird Pokemon in general. It's really cool that we got an evolution to Stantler, but Wyrdeer didn't really get a good stat line to make use of any of its stats. I have no other way to put that. Its attack and its special attack are the same. They're pretty good, but they're not outstanding, right? Hoopa Unbound, for example, has mixed attack and special attack, but both of them are really strong, so it can just be a wall breaker. It has pretty mediocre defenses, and while its HP stat is okay, we've seen from previous Pokemon like Licky that just having a good HP pool is not enough to carry you. Its speed stat is bad. It's not that strong to be a good Trick Rimmer, but it's definitely not a good speed stat. So overall, Wyrdeer doesn't really have a great niche that it can fill, if that makes sense. All right, here I'm going to actually lead off with the I'll lead off with the Noivern, because they're obviously going to try to get the Sticky Web up, and I'd rather not let them get the Sticky Web up for free. This is a really annoying team that we're facing game one because it's going to have Rain plus Sticky Web. Now, if they decide to stay in here and I don't get fully paralyzed, we might be able to prevent webs. They decide to switch out, which is fine by me. I'm going to switch her into Swampert. Gotta switch into Swampert, as unfortunately they immediately Terra Steel and they Dragon Dance. Bit of a problem. I'm gonna go Wyrdeer here, because fortunately Wyrdeer, one of the things it does have going for it is Intimidate. You know, one of the best moves in the metagame, or one of the best abilities in the metagame, is Intimidate. And so I can come in, get off that, Intimidate, and be good to go. Now we're going to Future Sight. Fortunately, we didn't get in the bug, but we did get in the Rain Setter, or the potential Rain Setter, if that is what this is. So we got to watch out for that. Now I'm going to go into my Muck, and we're just going to click the knockoff, as they do go for Rain Dance, and they take the Future Sight, so they're going to go down there this turn, which is fine, I suppose. Here I'm just going to Drain Punch, because I figured that they would make a play like that. I'm actually okay with them going for the Dragon Dance and whatever here, because they're wasting their rain turns. So that's totally fine by me. And here I can always go Swampert, and they're actually going to give me a rain boosted flip turn. So that works out. And I'm really defensive, as you can see. So that really does nothing. I don't know. I'm going to go Lycanroc here. I really hate this position, but they have Staraptor, they have Galvantula, and I want to keep those two out. If they go Tentacruel, I'm not as concerned about that, I don't think. But these two I want to keep out. And then Kingdra, I'm okay. I'm willing to stay in to Accelerock this, just so I can get some chip on it. Because Kingdra, as we saw in the previous video, is actually sort of scary. And this is fantastic. I can just go for another Accelerock here. And now they're probably locked into that. So now what I can do is I can go into Muck. If only I had Shadow Sneak on this particular set, I might have been able to pick them off, but as it is, you know, that's fine. I could have Terra Watered there, and maybe I should have, because then I wouldn't have taken that much damage. But I think this works out just fine. And we get off a very lucky Whatever the heck. Okay, what I'm going to do now, actually, is I'm going to go Delphox. I thought they'd go for Sticky Web, but maybe my opponent didn't have Sticky Web? I don't know. Because I wanted to get it in before they got it off, because I'm Choice Scarf, I'm not Heavy Duty Boots, and I'd like to outspeed Choice Scarf, Staraptor, outspeed Tentacruel, as they do just end up going into Staraptor here, which is okay. I'm gonna sack the Muck, actually, because I know I'm not gonna kill this for sure. I'm gonna go Noivern, because as we've seen in previous, I'll actually take that. That's fine by me. And I'm gonna go back and sack my Noivern. As we've seen in previous videos, Noivern does not beat Tentacruel 1v1. And so now I can just click the Psychic and we'll outspeed the Staraptor, KO that. And we should be able to deal with whatever the Tentacruel wants to do with the Swampert. I actually get a crit there with Hydro Pump, and they almost KO me. But we got lucky there, and so we're good to go. Alright, looks like we're facing the Windrider team. Delphox looks like it'll be pretty decent against the Fire guys. And it can get off a strong hit on the Rampardos, but there is Overquill we have to be concerned about. So we'll probably be more likely to lock into a Fire move, which Rampardos will eat a lot more easily. I want to lead off with Lycanroc, because what I can do is I can just close combat the Shiftry, and they may think I'm Focus Sash, I'm not sure, but they're definitely Focus Sash, as they don't actually even get... that's sort of cool. I'll just Accelerock here. If they want to predict that, that's fine. Low Kick doesn't kill, so we prevent Tailwind or anything like that, which is cool. Brambleghast is interesting because I technically beat that 1v1 since I'm a normal type. So, and I guess if I had Sapsipper, I definitely would beat it, but I don't have Sapsipper. Muck is probably better for that. I'm gonna lead go into Swampert, as they do go Rampardos, and on that we're just going to Flip Turn. They should not stay in, right? They should always go into Shaman, as I figured they would. And now I get to go in here and click free Flamethrower. The Rampardos is the only guy that can switch in. And the Shaman apparently has Tailwind as well, which is sort of cool to have Tailwind spam plus Rampardos, I guess. Then we're gonna go Muck, because I'm specially defensive Muck, not physically defensive, but I resist dual stab. It's Grass and Ghost, and I resist both of those, so I'll take it. If it appears to be Choice Banded, I can always switch into Wyrdeer as well. So we'll see what they end up doing here. Almost certainly a Poltergeist, right? Okay, so it's just Life Orb. But as we see, this is not a 2-hit KO. And I don't really need this for anything else. Oh, as my opponent unfortunately misses. That is pretty big for them, because they were banking on that Terra to get the 2-hit KO. And because they miss, I make it out alive. And they lose their Tailwind and their Terra all in one turn. So that's a huge turn for my opponent. Yeah, Poltergeist is a really cool move. It gives Ghosts a really strong option, whereas P24 they've not had a strong move outside of, you know, like Spectral Thief. But on the downside, it requires your opponent to have an item. It's really annoying all around. I'm actually going to sack Wyrdeer here. So they go for Swords Dance. I'm just going to Roar. I don't want them setting up more. And as we see, that does a ton of damage. The reason I don't want to get 2-hit KO'd with Swampert, and since they set up a Swords Dance, I think that would have been the case. I could go Noivern, but if I miss, that'll be sad. Let's quickly check this calc. Delphox, Choice Scarf versus Rampardos. I need a showdown. I could grass knot, but flamethrower, 34% to 40%. That's not safe. Let's go Noivern. If I miss it, it is what it is. You know? Now they do have the Nicholas, which is annoying. But my Muck is now still at a decent amount of health. And they've used the Terra. So poison probably wouldn't matter because they're probably Magic Guard with some kind of setup. Okay, so we get that off. If this were Taunt Noivern, we'd be in a lot safer of a position here in the end game. But as we've covered in the previous video, Noivern really struggles a lot when it comes to what it can do. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll just defog. It's niche, right? You have 4 move slot syndrome on Noivern. What are you going to do with it? And you have to decide what that's going to be. We'll go Swampert, and we'll just click the Earthquake. The Swampert also has knockoff, but I think I'd rather spam Earthquake over knockoff because, well, that was interesting. Because I want my knockoff and my Muck to be stronger. So they got 2 spikes against me. I could go into my Noivern and prioritize that. I think I always go Muck here, because they actually set up a Trick Room. I could protect to try to stall out the Trick Room, but I don't like that idea particularly well. Because they can always go for, if I wanted to be really cheeky, do I need my Terra on anything else? Terra Fairy on Swampert, that doesn't help me. Terra Grass on Delphox, that definitely doesn't help me. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to get the defog off. As we actually managed to do so. And so now they have to decide, do they want to get up a spike or what? And yeah, they decide to do that. Here I'm going to go into Delphox. I'm just going to trick it. And then they have to decide what move they want to go for. Because I don't want any nonsense from this Nicholas. Alright. So I'll acknowledge that we got really lucky against my opponent there. Dodging the Poltergeist. Huge, huge turn. But we make it out alive, and that's all that matters. So, while we're looking for a game, let's talk about Wyrdeer. Wyrdeer, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, it doesn't have any major stat upon which you can obviously focus. Some Pokemon have a lot of speed, you obviously focus on that. Pokemon usually have one attack stat much higher than the other, because they're meant to be physical or special attackers. Some Pokemon, like Infernape, don't necessarily have that, but they have the tool set to make both sets work. Wyrdeer doesn't really have that because it's so slow that setup is hard, whereas on Infernape, I have priority, I'm really fast, I can just outspeed you with one setup and suddenly sweep your entire team, whereas Wyrdeer, even if it is set up, it isn't doing that, and it doesn't have the raw strength to break through like Crawdaunt does on Trick Room. So there's that out of the way, and then you can't really run a utility set because it doesn't usually have the moves to run utility. Interesting team on my opponent's part. It's a very strong looking team, and my opponent looks like they have a lot of points, so this is probably going to be a rough one. The Rocker is probably Rhyperior, and by probably Rhyperior, I mean I think that's the only Pokemon on their team that gets it. So Delphox, I feel like I want to save just in case they try to set up with the Slowbro. But otherwise, it's looking pretty mixed. You can Grass Knot the Rhyperior, and Flamethrower isn't awful, but I don't know. I'm going to lead off with Wyrdeer, because I don't mind losing it in this game. As I'm going to set up a Future Sight here. I may just want to throw off a Scald or something. Now, the nice thing about this particular Wyrdeer set, and the reason we're running it, is because it has Future Sight plus Roar, which means that if my opponent wants to go into a Dark type like their Muck, or they want to go into a Psychic type like their Slowbro, then that's not going to really work out for them. So this turn, they're going to either stay in, or they're going to go into their Muck to try to absorb the Future Sight coming out. But now they've gone into Raikou, and now they're going to have to deal with that, basically. They go for double Scald, and I show the Earthquake. I don't really feel like switching. So like I said before, I don't mind if this goes down. So we trade the Wyrdeer for a bit of damage on the Raikou. I think that's fine. By me, I don't have any problems with that. As they have no Draco Meteor switch-ins, so I think we're going to go with that. They go for Protect. I'm just going to throw off another Draco Meteor again. They're obviously going to go Muck, but I didn't want them to stay in. Didn't think that was particularly prudent, as we have to go Swampert here, unfortunately. And now we will always just go for Flip Turn. They probably go into Serena, or maybe they're Talonflame trying to get a burn. Maybe they're Slowbro. They do go Serena, that's fine. Okay, so the Serena is out. I'm going to go for the Trick. Their team is relatively slow, so they could go to Slowbro, trying to scout. They could stay in as well, in which case their Serena is now Choice Scarf, which isn't the greatest. Slowbro. I'm actually going to Terragrass this, maybe? Well, let's check damage on this. Slowbro. Something like that, I don't know. If I Terragrass, it does more, but it doesn't do considerably more. So. Now I'm going to Psychic. No, I'm going to Flamethrower now because they should have gone into Muck, in my opinion. But I guess they could have go into Talonflame too. That's acceptable. We'll go into Swampert again. They just decide to flip out, or U-turn out. So my opponent is really putting me in a bad position. I'm struggling to get out of the bad position that I'm in. But they just brought really strong meta Pokemon. So like this team is really good. Like I would recommend stealing my opponent's team. All of their guys, very strong, very good. Raikou is probably the weakest, but even that, you want an electric type on this kind of team. So I would definitely use this kind of team, 100%. Okay, so they go Serena again. This time I'm going to go for Noivern, as they continue to U-turn. But I can't stay in, like, that's just not going to work. We'll just U-turn out. I could Terra Steel, but they're so sped up that it really doesn't make any difference. I've already been knocked off on this Swampert. They keep trying to get a poison on me, but they can't get it. Which is fine by me. I'll take it. Okay, we go Serena. And this time, I'm going to go Muck. Because now I can go for a knockoff. And they have to decide who wants to get knocked off on their team. The Muck could get knocked off, maybe Wyrdeer. Interesting. Now, my previous Muck I have run on this channel had a Stealth Rock makes sense. A previous Muck I ran on this channel had Giga Drain for Wyrdeer specifically, and lesser extent for things like Swampert and whatever. But this particular one has Protect, because sometimes guys that are weak to Future Sight will try to stay in and do turn out on you. And so if you have Protect, you can pivot into that on the last turn before Future Sight hits to try to turn out. Then they're trapped in, which is cool. Okay, now I'm just going to click Draco Meteor again, because once again, they don't have any switch-ins except for Alolan Muck, which I suppose I should have seen coming a mile away. So that's on my fault again. Here, I'm going to go Lycanroc, actually. If I lose my Life Orb, that means that I won't take any damage from that. And it also means that I can't be... It means I can't be... as they actually let me Swords Dance up, which is insane. Please go Slowbro. Please go Slowbro. It means I'll take poison damage because they got it this turn. But if I hadn't, then I could have not taken Life Orb, which would have been fine. Okay, so they do go Slowbro. So now we're going to close combat. They sack the Wyrdeer, which I think makes a lot of sense. But that actually helps Swampert out a bit because now it's a bit more freed up to do whatever it wants. I'm gonna go into my Swampert, I guess. I'm gonna click knock off here. I don't really think it helps, but it'll make me feel better about myself. And actually, that means I get to click knock off again. But I'm just gonna flip turn out because I know they're gonna go Serena. And then I'm going to go into Wyvern. And I will U-turn out. Now, this is a risky play because they could always have triple axle or something. But the way they've been playing it, I'm pretty sure they do not. What is my muck? Yeah, my Swampert should outspeed them. And I can just click flip turn again. And I'll actually Earthquake, just in case. That actually isn't the worst. I don't think... Yeah, knock. Earthquake to 21. That's not going to kill. I'm going to flip turn out. And the Wyvern comes back out. That way we can U-turn out again. It actually stayed in, okay. So muck. And now we get a stronger knockoff off at least. Because I will just do that. Ooh, as they go for Terra Poison. Okay, so that helps my Dullfox later on. But it also means my muck is basically sort of wasted at this point. Okay. So at this point, the thing that I was hoping would not happen has now started to happen when the Slowbro is setting up for the endgame. So that's a problem. My Swampert can come out and can click Earthquake. Which I think at this point I sort of have to do. I don't know. We'll go Wyvern again. And here are Terra Steel, I guess. Oh, I didn't Terra Steel. I misclicked. But I'm okay with that. Will you turn out? Because that should kill, as it does. And I'll go into my Swampert again. Just because I don't want them to go Slowbro is the main thing. I'll go back into my muck because it's already ruined. And I'm okay with losing it. And here, they're always going to U-turn. So there's no point trying to make a double or anything like that. That makes sense. So they actually go into their own muck, so they no longer have leftovers on that, which is cool, I guess. But doesn't really matter. Here, I have to go into Swampert. Talonflame still has its heavy-duty boots. Just Earthquake. They actually do go Slowbro hard, which is cool by me. I guess we have to get a crit or something to make any kind of meaningful progress in this game. Because there's no way at this point I'm going to kill anybody. I'll just U-turn out of the battle. Alright, GG to my opponent. That was just a solid team overall. Not much I could have done there. And we're back to this grass guy. I'm going to lead off with Muck this time. It was cool to be able to trade 1v1 with the Lycanroc. But I still think my Lycanroc is more valuable later on. And since they have multiple Tailwind guys, I'm thinking maybe not as good to sack it turn 1, just to prevent one of the Tailwinds from going off. But it did sort of work the way I was hoping it would, so there's that. Wyrdeer hasn't done too much so far, unfortunately. That is the problem with this set. It's really bulky. We saw in game 1, it did prevent us from getting swept by DD Flygon. The Intimidate is quite nice, but you could also have other Intimidate mons, so I'll just Poison Jab here. That'll do a ton of damage to Shiftry, and it has a really good poison chance, either from Poison Jab or from Poison Touch. So, almost certain to break through and kill. Now we go into the Wyrdeer again, because I know once again they're going to make that stupid play where they Swords Dance up, and I don't want my Swampert getting blown away. Because I want it for later on. Actually go for Rock Slide. Here I'll just Mega Horn. Interesting, they went into the Trick Room on... I mean, obviously they didn't have a choice as to what they would go into. Right, you just go into what you go into. Is they forget that I'm a normal type, which I will take. So we actually get rid of the Reuniclus, so that means no more late game Trick Room shenanigans, which is cool. So the reason we're running Mega Horn on this Wyrdeer is that there's Brute Bonnet in the tier, there's Crocodile in the tier, and those particular dark types take much more damage from Mega Horn, even uninvested, than they would if I had Terra Blast Bug. So one of the things the Wyrdeer has over Farigiraf, because they can both do Feature Sight and Roar, and Farigiraf has a higher HP pool and has a higher special attack stat. But Wyrdeer has a more useful ability, and it has stronger ground stab, and then it also has this bug option, which is really nice. Just because I feel like they're going to get cheeky, I'm going to go for Mega Horn there, as my opponent did not decide to get cheeky there. I'm going to go Noivern here just to save that as a sack, and then I'm going to drop a Draco Meteor, because I don't want them going into the Rampardos or anything like that on my defog. I guess Rampardos wouldn't have been the end of the world now that I think about it. I'm thinking this Noivern here, I don't really get that many opportunities to roost. I've seen other people use other teams where Noivern gets to roost, but I feel like this one almost would just much more benefit from the taunt. Here we're going to defog. And then I'm going to sack the Wyrdeer. That way we can waste a turn of Tailwind. I'd actually go for Rapid Spin, which I guess I'll take. Again, like I said before, we're just going to sack the Wyrdeer. That'll be good because then they'll be -1. And the Poltergeist, of course, won't work on me. Just going to throw off a Future Sight in case they want to do something weird, but Rapid Spin works fine. So now we go Muck, and we get to throw off a free knockoff. If they go into their Rampardos, they'll lose their Life Orb or whatever the heck they are. If they go Shaman, that's not a favorable time for them because I am Spadef, and I have a super effective move for them. We go for Tailwind. I actually get the Poison, which I'm not sure how I feel about. I can Protect here, though. Actually, I'm going to go Swampert. I was going to Protect, but then I remembered that that's a bad idea. So we're just going to click Earthquake here. So they go for that, which is their strongest play, I suppose. But they don't get too much out of this, unfortunately, for my opponent, because the Tailwind is just such a weak strategy. You see here, he comes in, and he wastes a turn setting up Swords Dance. He wasted a turn setting it up, so you only get 2 turns of strong attacks. And if I have a strong defensive wall, I can eat one of those. Maybe you've taken out my wall, but now you have to sack another Pokemon to set up Tailwind, because each of these Pokemon is getting up Tailwind and doing nothing else. So not that great. And now we're back facing this guy again. Unfortunate, because I really don't have a good matchup against this guy. And to be fair, like, I don't know what kind of matchup would be a good matchup against this guy. A very strong team. We'll knock off the Muck right away. They'll probably do the same. And that I will take because it should help later on trying to get trying to prevent recovery on this guy, right? That's the main thing we want to do. And I'm not super happy about this guy's performance before, so I'll take it. I wonder if they're trying to bait me into spamming Drain Punch, or if they're just content staying in to trade Mucks. I feel like the Muck trade for them is so much worse than it is for me. Because for me, I want their Muck gone so that my Noivern can do something, so that my Delphox can do something. This is a good thing for me. But what do I know? Okay. I'm gonna go into my Wyrdeer now. I'm just gonna click Earthquake. I go Talonflame, just fine. Picking Will-O-Wisp. But now I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm gonna click the Earthquake here. They're probably gonna U-turn. Makes a lot of sense. So they actually sack their Mole Muck. They do know I have Roar, probably if they remember from the previous game. So we'll set up any of the future sight here. As now I will go into my Swampert. And we will click the knockoff on the Slowbro coming in. That makes sense. Now we click the Earthquake. And here, now I'm going to click the Flip Turn. Actually don't go into their Serena, which I thought they would. That's okay. I'm going to go into my Noivern, because now they don't have a Draco Meteor switch in for sure. They go Rhyperior. Looks to be Spadef, which I guess that makes sense. The Swampert again. My Swampert is going to get worn down over the course of this game. But that is what it is. They go back into Slowbro. I'm actually going to go into my Delphox here. I'm going to Terra Grass and Flamethrower. The previous time I stayed in, I showed Trick. Wait, why would I do that? No, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Okay. So the previous time I showed Trick, and they went into their Serena. I didn't like them having Choice Scarf Serena. This works okay as well, I suppose. As we'll future sight out. Just to force in the Slowbro. And hopefully I can get some kind of positioning off of that. Go Rhyperior. And I will Earthquake now. And now I get to go Delphox. And I get to Grass Knot. And the Grass Knot means that the Serena... I guess the Serena didn't take that much damage. After all, I thought it would take a lot more than that. That's okay. Draw up another Draco Meteor. I could be getting off the Stealth Rock, but I want to get rid of the Rocker before I try that. I'm thinking is the best option. We gotta save the Noivern. We'll go Swampert again. If they go for Dragon Tail, which I will 100% take. Gonna go for Psychic. I don't think you go Slowbro here. And if you go Talonflame, that's good for me. So now I get to go Noivern. And I'm now gonna click Defog. I will U-turn out into my Delphox. And now they have to play the guessing game again. What am I going to go for? Am I going to go for Trick? Am I going to go for a Psychic? What are we doing here? I'm going to Grass Knot again, because that's the one that punishes the Slowbro the most. And that's the one that also doesn't waste my Trick. Because if they had decided to stay in and I tricked, then that would be fantastic. That's what we want. But if they decide to switch out and I lose my Trick option later on, that's what hurt me in the previous game. Okay. Well, you turn out here. This lets me know that they're not... I guess I knew they weren't Choice Scarfed. At this point, we can sack. The Swampert is not doing anything. And this forces them to kill me here. Now, I think I have to go into my Lycanroc, which I really hate. Well, actually, I keep forgetting Lycanroc's not faster. Why aren't you faster, man? Alright, no, just Grass Knot. But yeah, that's GG. Not gonna lie, I'm missing my Whimsicott. I really like having Encore Pokemon so that I can prevent setup or punish setup, but not having an Encore Pokemon in this game, or in this live, is sort of hurt. Especially against that guy who has just set up spam. Alright. So now we're facing off against Sun. Originally, this Dullfox had eject button. That way you could trap Infernape with the Future Sight. But we switched it out because it just wasn't consistent. I'm going to lead off with the Lycanroc because that punishes basically everything that wants to switch in. I'll just Solrock here. They do go Overquill, which allows me to go into my Swampert. Do I go Swampert on this? I think I'm going to go Muck, because Muck doesn't really have a purpose in this game, and I can get a knockoff off on anything that wants to come in. Technically, the Muck is good into the Brute Bonnet, maybe? But not after the Brute Bonnet's got a growth up. Because they go Infernape, and we get a Poison Touch on it, and they lose the Choice Scarf, which I will take. I'm going to Protect here. With the Choice Scarf, they don't have set up. We actually see that they're special, which means I am a lot less scared of it. So that's great. I don't know why they made that switch like they did. Here I'm going to go Wyrdeer. As we've seen in previous times, it's really nice having that ability to just get rid of their boosts. And now we're going to Roar, because we can't have this sweep in my team. And as you see, we're really bulky. And here, I'm going to actually Roar again, and we're going to play the Lottery. So this is a Dark type. That's not helping the situation. We get Talonflame, which means it gets the chip on it. And that allows me to go Noivern, and I can click the Defog. I think this Noivern definitely needs Taunt. I'm not going to switch it because his life's basically done, but I think get rid of Roost, put on Taunt. A lot more valuable overall. I could go Flygon here, but I'd like to get Chip on the Ninetales if possible. So I'm going to U-turn out now. Actually do go Flygon, which is hilarious, because now they have nothing for Flamethrower in the Sun. I mean, I guess they have Talonflame, maybe. I'm just going to stay in. At least once. And then that allows me to go back into Noivern, actually. So they go into their Flygon, which I guess that makes a lot of sense. We'll go Wyrdeer again. And we will Roar just immediately. We're not letting them set up another Dragon Dance. They may expect me to go for Future Sight, who knows. Here, I will go for Earthquake. And they'll just KO me, that's okay. And now we'll go Lycanroc. And Close Combat, because that'll do more damage to Overquill. Wow, that's a crazy play on my opponent's part. But it works out for them, so what can you say? We'll go Muck again, because once again, I do not care about this Muck. And we get the knockoff off finally, which is great. They get the burn, I get the poison. I'll take it. Actually go for the double Drain Punch here. Predicting them to go to Overquill. And now I'm going to go Swampert, because I will threaten them with the Earthquake. Or maybe I should threaten them with the Earthquake, but they don't feel threatened is the problem with that. Defog again. And now we U-turn out, because now that they know that I've gotten my business done with the Defog, they should be going into Flygon. And now I can get a free Close Combat off. And they can go into Talonflame if they want to try to burn Fish. They don't get it. And so now they don't have that option in the back anymore. Let's do a quick calc here. Lycanroc versus Overquill. Overquill, something like this, I suppose. And if I Terra Fighting, they got their Intimidate off though. That would do 42%. They are in range of. So unless this is a fully defensive one, then this should die. And I just want to get rid of that, you know? And the main thing is they have nothing for it in the back. The Ninetales will die as well, and they can't switch in the Brute Bonnet hard on it. So now they go Brute Bonnet. Now we're going to go into the Wyvern, I guess. And now I'm going to go for the Roost. I'll U-turn out. I guess I should have U-turned out first. That would have been good to do. Here I will protect. Hopefully they don't growth again. But I figured they would do something like that. Now the main question is how best to stall this out. Okay, I'm gonna go Lycanroc here. And then I'm gonna go into Swampert. As they do go just for Bullet Seed, which is cool, I guess. Hmm. 50-50. But if they go for... Yeah, they should always go for Sucker Punch here, I think. Or not. Okay, now they Sucker Punch. Now they Sucker Punch again. Now I'm gonna Flamethrower. Ah, they get me. Alright. So I definitely misplayed that end game in the last game. But now we're facing off against a team with really annoying Pokemon. And then a couple of really cool Pokemon. I mean, not cool, but like Gallade and Flygon. Like, they're cool. How can you not like them? But then they got Klefki, Quagsire. Even Tentacruel can be sort of an annoying Pokemon in the right hands. So we're going to have to watch out for that. But overall, I think initially I just want to lead off with Delphox. Because they're going to lead off with Keys. Almost certainly. And if I can just get a Flamethrower off, that'd be great. The Trick turn 1 doesn't make a lot of sense because they'll just go Chandelure if they're Flash Fire anyway. And then now I'm going to go Swampert here because they'll either set up dual screens, in which case I want to be able to flip turn out and pivot into the Noivern, or they're going to go for Thunder Wave, something like that. We will flip turn out now. I feel like you always should Terra Steel here, but I guess not. What do I know? Wonder if they're Choice Scarfed. This was my Fairy type, unfortunately, and we just flipped out of it. But I wasn't expecting them to go for that right away. I'll throw up a Future Sight. And then I will go for the Roar. Just to see what we get out. And then I'll Roar again. This Glade can come out. If they want to stay in, they'll take the Future Sight. Glade has good Spadef, so it actually won't take a lot. But I figured they'd go Klefki and actually get the Flygon back out, which is okay by me. And here I'll just Mega Horn. Wyrdeer sort of done his job. Weaken this, what I assume to be Scarf Flygon. And now I can go into my Delphox, which is faster than Scarf Flygon. And I will just go for the Psychic. Psychic because even though it doesn't hit Klefki as hard, it hits Tentacruel, it hits Chandelure, and hits this. And seeing Flamethrower, they probably don't want to go Klefki. They also could think that, well, it's a dragon. So I don't know. Comes down to what they're thinking, you know? What is this roll on Delphox versus Quag? Psychic does 48% minimum. So either they have some Spadef or that was absolute mineral. As they get a Toxic off, which is annoying. But that's not the end of the world for Delphox, who doesn't really value its HP much anyway. And they have no real priority outside of maybe Shadow Sneak on Glade. So that's okay. Here we'll go Swampert, just because we're locked in. And Swampert will threaten this the most. They can't go into Flygon here, because Flip Turn should kill them at this point. Give me an Iron Ball, which doesn't really change anything, I don't think. Lycanroc, Dusk versus Klefki. Something like that. Solrock does 17% minimum. I don't know. Let's go back to Delphox. And once again, we'll just click Psychic. Right? Because that did... no, actually, that's not acceptable. We have to click Flamethrower. Which, I mean, I guess if my opponent wants to be cool, they can go into... I'll click Psychic. Get rid of my Choice Scarf. Which means now I have Leftovers. Which is an interesting play. I didn't need this anyway. I didn't need my Choice Scarf anyway. Because I already outspeed their... Well, I guess I don't know. One of these is Choice Scarf, so maybe I did need it. I'm not scared of the Chandelure because I have the Muck. So they go into Shandy. I go Muck. I take no type of damage. Now I click Knockoff. And the Quagsire is 2%. The Flygon is 19%. Tentacruel, Glade, Hate coming in on Knockoff. And the Chandelure will just one shot. I'm pretty sure even if they burn me, they'll get one shot. To sack the Quag, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think the Quag had any value at that point. Again, I'm sort of pining for the Shadow Sneak. I don't think it would kill in this particular instance, but... So they go for Outrage. And on that, I can just go Terra Steel, Noivern, Draco Meteor. And they're not even Choice Scarf, so that Terra was unnecessary. But, oh, actually, did I first class just now? That was my fault. I should have paid more attention. But I suppose the Terra Steel wasn't bad there still, just because it did allow me to make up for a miss, which Draco Meteor could miss. So, if I did miss there, I would have lost the entire game, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm a better Pivot Tentacruel as well. And I guess I don't really need my Terra. Terra Grass wasn't helping anything. Terra Fighting probably wasn't the greatest either. And the Terra Water on the Muck was probably the only one that really mattered at all. Alright, here we will just click Knockoff again. Hopefully they stay in. I would really love that. But they do go Tentacruel. That's okay. Now we're switching to the Tentacruel, which is good. Because now we resist their poison, or we're immune to their poison moves. Of course, we no longer resist their water moves. But if they want to flip turn out, I'm okay with that. Here, I'm just going to click the Draco Meteor. This is not a Leftovers Tentacruel. So we can... Or it was a Leftovers Tentacruel, but got knocked off. So we can chip it down now. And I'm not concerned about this Toxic Spike. I don't need to defog it because they have the Chandelure, which means I want my Muck coming out as often as possible. I'm 100% sure that they're choiced in some fashion. So I'm going to go Delphox here. I'm going to click Psychic. There should be Choice Scarf Chandelure on this set. And there goes the Tentacruel. So now I have to decide what I want to sack. I feel like what I want to sack is the Noivern. As they actually go for Hex. Interesting. As that does not kill, which is humongous. Because now they're definitely in range of Lycanroc. And I'm actually going to Sword Stance up as a result. Because now we got to do some calcs on this. Lycanroc Dusk versus Gallade. Then we're going to come in with Scarf Hex. Because Scarf Hex is not scary in any meaningful way. So now I can just go for Crunch. And that'll kill Gallade. And then I can Accelerock the Chandelure, and we'll be good to go. That's sort of the downfall of running a Terrifier is basically the only Chandelure you should run, but it's not really good in the end game against a guy that has priority. It's not that great. If you can get rid of that priority, though, it is quite scary. To end it off today's video, I want to show a replay real fast. This replay I thought was a really good one to show off the potential of Wyrdeer. So this guy here, a lot of points in the 1500s. I'll lead off with the Wyrdeer, just because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Oh, actually, I lead off with Swampert. And with the Swampert here as a lead, I sort of know what this Heracross is all about. It's going to Trailblaze up. It's going to try to get its Guts boost and then close combat the Muck. You know, the Noivern isn't really going to be able to hurt it that much, and if it has like Rock Blast or something, you know, that could just be the end of it. This will get one shot. This doesn't appreciate the Trailblaze, and that's my defensive wall. And the Wyrdeer, of course, has to fear Megahorn and is still neutral to close combat. But I let off with Swampert because I didn't want them to lead off with the Arcanine or the Bellibolt, and the Thundurus also could have been not Grass Knot, but at least I could have scouted one way or the other. And then they have two poison types, so it had a pretty good matchup, except for the Heracross. But I think this was an okay lead still, because I can go for the knockoff. The knockoff means that they're not going to get their Guts boost, which I think is really important. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to keep this around. We're going to go into the Wyrdeer, because they usually don't run Megahorn, usually run knockoff. And as you see, we completely chew that. And I can just go for Future Sight here. As they wisely go into Overquill. The Overquill is on a balloon. Actually, we go for Roar first, because I wanted to make sure they didn't Sword Stance up. Here we Earthquake, because opportunistically, here we have a poison type. I'm going to show the Earthquake. To go back into Overquill, I throw off a Future Sight just as a last ditch kind of thing. Here we get a bit of bad luck where I go for Megahorn, just trying to pop their balloon so Swampert can deal with it later on. I miss. Here we're going to Roar, because obviously they're in with this. And we actually pull the lucky Heracross, and so they lose the Heracross. So Wyrdeer actually takes out a really scary problem for my team. Here we can see the bulk of Wyrdeer. They tank the Waterfall. That does no type of damage. Of course, it's not Stab or In the Rain or anything like that. But, and I could keep missing my Megahorns, which really is sad, because this would have been a lot better. But I can just go in here and force the issue by going for Flip Turn. Of course, they want to keep their balloons, so they're going to switch out. And now I can go Lycanroc. Here, I think maybe if I had gone for my Terra, it would have been better, because I would have two-shot the Bellibolt. And two-shotting the Bellibolt means I take way less damage overall. But I didn't realize that it wouldn't be a two-shot. We go Noivern, not only to defog, but also because this is my best Bellibolt answer. Is to go for Toxic, which I will take actually over Discharge, because it would have been powered up. Here they make an interesting play. I figured they always go for Slack Off here, as they actually go for double Toxic, maybe predicting me to predict their Slack Off. But it does leave them lower on in the battle, so they no longer have that defensive option. So I'm actually okay with that. Here we go for the knockoff. One thing I will say about the Swampert is that, at least for me, I haven't found a good opportunity to go for Stealth Rock. We scout for Grass Knot here always, as Noivern just comes in to continuously get chipped down throughout the battle. Bellibolt's pretty obvious switch in, so we're going to switch out, and I'm going to go into Swampert. They're probably not going to want to stay in, so I believe do I Flip Turn out here, or do I Earthquake just on the off chance? I think I Earthquake on the off chance, yeah. So I figure they might try to get cheeky and predict me to predict them, and I can't have that, but having this interaction just means I get to Flip Turn out. They've weakened me considerably for the Arcanine, but that is what it is. Here, I don't want to play the defog while I'm toxic into your Spikes game, so I just go for Draco Meteor. And you always do turn here, because they can get a free Spike up safely, because you'll die to poison, and they go second. Here we go, Lycanroc, and we'll just close combat here. Now my opponent doesn't really do the calc properly, and I go Belly Bolt. And so I am willing to commit just to get rid of this Belly Bolt. It is annoying, and my ground type is super weak. So we just Terra and get rid of that. But now we have the problem that the Arcanine comes out, and I don't have anything to eat a hit. We can sack the Noivern, we can scout its Choice Band, which is useful information to have. This isn't a defensive Arcanine, it's fully offensive. So the Muck here, I'm just going to click Knock Off because either they go into their own Muck, which I can knock into Drain or whatever, but also I don't want them going Thunderous. Here I'm going to go Swampert. It's too weak to deal with the Arcanine, so we're just going to sack it, and then I can go into my Lycanroc. I know that the priority is going to be the main issue at the end game, so I just go Very Solar Rock here because it'll hit this super effectively, and it prevents Shadow Sneak. Here I know that they're going to Extreme Speed, but I now know they're locked into that. And for me, in my mind, at this point, I was thinking I want to keep them locked in to that Extreme Speed. My Muck has Protect. The reason you want to lock them in is because if they can switch up moves, maybe they go for Trailblaze, maybe they go for something else, it's a problem. But nobody's going to go for Trailblaze at this point of the ladder. What I should have done is I should have calced the damage on Delphox and seen that it would live Extreme Speed if I knocked it off. Because the spikes are up, I don't think I really could have switched out and switched back in to go for another Protect. In terms of getting the poison damage racking up, maybe that could have worked, but it still would have required a double Protect, I think. Maybe not. But anyway, because I didn't knock them off the Extreme Speed I'm in range of, I think that might have been a roll, but they take me out. So I misplayed the end game there, but I did want to show this replay because the Wyrdeer actually got a kill in the beginning. And you can see how Future Sight plus a phasing move like Whirlwind or Roar is really powerful to force out the Psychic and Dark types that want to come in and absorb it. And a lot of times you won't get lucky into a matchup and the phasing won't be favorable. As we saw with that one guy with the Overquill plus Slowbro plus other bulky guys, the chance of me getting something like I got in this game with the Heracross, not very likely, because it was a very bulky team, lots of resists to Psychic, and I'm not even an invested Future Sight, so it's not particularly scary. But when you're facing a more offensive team that really has one thing that wants to eat a Future Sight, and the Wyrdeer is decently bulky, you can get kills that you wouldn't otherwise get, and you can force the issue on killing the guys with the Psychic moves that you want to kill, as opposed to making them whiff into Dark types. But overall, I would say this team definitely needs work, but the Wyrdeer in general is not that great of a Pokemon, so if you're going to make it work, I don't think this is the worst option. But you guys can let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys next time.